got 25 minutes. We got to go.
Hey, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Winston, you're muted.
I don't know. You
guys. Super excited to be with you guys. It's been a couple of weeks, so we're happy to be back. And a lot has happened since the last time.
Say that.
And
An
so
election's been won.
Yeah, I mean, all sorts of things.
Lost.
So if this is your first time with us on Say That Channel, we just want to say a big welcome. Welcome to Say That Channel, where we are unapologetic about the ugly come up of entrepreneurship and small business ownership. We have all heard those stories about people start from nothing and then have massive success. And you're like, what happened in the middle? What happened during the ugly come up? Well, that's what we're here to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. We got you covered. My name is Janelle Villiers. That over there is Winston Broderick, and we are your hosts. Happy to be here. Now, what we typically do is we have a topic question of the day. Mm-hmm. And we've got 25 minutes to answer that question. But what happens when we run out of time? Oh, no. What do we do? Well, you just hop on over to Overtime. You'll catch us in Overtime. All of our guests are in Overtime. They go deeper into the subjects that they talk about. Today, in fact, we're going to have that as well because we have an amazing guest on, if you got a little hint from our thumbnail. So I'm super excited to get into it.
Let's do it.
So the question for today is your business Santa approved? Is it? I don't know. We have an amazing guest who's going to be on, who is going to share with us. What does that mean? Could your business be on the naughty list? I don't know, but we need to figure these things out. He is one of the warmest gentlemen I know. He is a real bearded Santa, ladies and gentlemen. He is a husband, a father, and my cheery-eyed fellow. Everybody, please welcome Santa Papa John.
Our next guest.
Ho, ho, ho.
There he is. Get your kids on right now.
What's happening? Who's on the naughty list and who's on the, well, should we go below the naughty list for some people that I know?
I know somebody in particular.
Oh, no. It's all about having fun and, more importantly, sharing happiness, positivity with your friends and family around the world.
Say that.
Say that. Well, tell us a little bit, Santa Papa John, a little bit about your story. How did you come to being not just Papa John, but now Santa Papa John?
Well, it's a pretty simple story. When I met my new wife, after going through life happens, we all know that. This young lady that I met, I made the mistake. We met online, and I made the mistake of sending her a picture without the beard. Oh. And then I met her in person, and she went, "Oh my, you're not John, you're Santa."
Oh.
And I went, "Huh, interesting." Because Christmas and I, for the first half of my life, didn't really have a great connection. I was more on the Scrooge side. And the quick story is, she hands me a handful of candy cane and says, the next time you're walking through a store and you hear some kids squawking, go talk to them, see what kind of reaction you get. And I went, well, the typical male response, Winston, you know where I'm going with this is, hey, little girl, do you want some candy? I said, I'm going to go to freaking jail. Yeah. So she kicks me in the shin and she said, try it and see what happens. So big black winter coat on, black pants, black tennis shoes on. I had no red. This was white. I've had this for 14 years, give or take. Can't disguise it, so I got to utilize it, right? So I'm walking through the store, and I hear these kids squawking a couple aisles over, and went, well, if I'm going to try this, here's my golden opportunity.
Oh.
So I walked around the corner, and of course there was 3 little kids in a cart. Wah, 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 doing this to mom. I don't want to be here. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm sick. You've been there. You've heard it. You've seen it. We've all experienced it.
Yeah.
And all I did was I looked at him and I says, I think there's some kids wanting to be put on the naughty list. And I shut up. Well, of course, they looked at me, they looked at mom, they looked at me, and their eyeballs went about this big, and they went, Santa, what are you doing here? I said, I'm hearing some kids that are squawking back to mom that maybe need to be put on the naughty list.
Oh.
Well, holy moly, you think the world had turned upside down. Their eyeballs and their mouths went about this big, and they went, Santa, no, no, no. And I said, who's acting bad to mom? Not me. So I end up talking to her a few minutes, and of course, you have to ask mom permission to give kids the candy. And of course, she said yes. And I said, now, I popped in on you today. I might do this tomorrow or the next day. So you remember, you got to pick up the pace a little bit and be a little bit more nicer to mom. We will, we promise. And I said, okay, I got to leave now. I got to go talk to some more children. And I walked around the corner, and of course, mom come running after me, and she said, thank you. I think we just made shopping enjoyable for the rest of the season. And, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have not looked back since. It has literally changed my life and changed my world. And you both know, you've seen it with your own eyes. It's a pretty ugly world out there right now. And there's a lot of people that are not only business owners, but regular people as well, going through some hardships. And a lot of them don't even have a reason to smile. So I can get out of a vehicle, walk around the corner, get into a meeting like this, and I make people smile. And we need more of that in this world.
Say that. I agree. Well, I love this story. I think you gave me a little bit more than I even got the last time. So I love this. So everyone can certainly understand why you are the best person to answer today's topic question, because you're it. You're Santa Claus now, right?
I am. And, unfortunately, my background doesn't like StreamYard very much, but normally over this shoulder, I have a big badge that is red. It's like a red ribbon with a picture in me that says Santa approved. And is your business Santa approved? How I started it was, again, the power of networking. I was in a network meeting that I've been involved with for about 3 years. Great bunch of people. And I've done videos for all of them. And they said, geez, Santa, we really got to come up with an idea that you actually like us. And of course, we all giggled and laughed, and we started throwing around words. And someone said, Santa approved. And I went, are you Santa approved? Well, the old bells and whistles go off, when you hear that certain sentence, just like this show. You guys didn't think of it as, well, we're going to just do this and we're going to come up with some stupid name. And no, you thought about it, and the bells and whistles went off because it grabbed your attention. It lit the light bulb, and you were excited to say, this has got some potential. Well, I ran upstairs and I talked to my wife, and I says, what do you think of this idea? And she said, I love it. So then she sent the text message to the granddaughter, one of the granddaughters, who just finished art school and is now doing websites, and said, Santa's got an SOS, call after work. So she called after work and explained a little bit of the scenario and said, I'm looking for a badge idea. Well, she drew that badge and came up with it, and about 4 days later, and everybody that sees it, finds out what it is, loves the idea. And now I can even take it another step further in saying, I filed the paperwork with the assistance of some wonderful people, and the marketing people love the idea. but I have been approved for my trademark. So now I own the trademark for my badge. Are you Santa approved? And what does that mean? Well,
Yeah.
does your business promote happiness, positivity, and do you share and care with other businesses and other people? You know, I've got some criteria on the Google form to sign up. It's a pretty simple, easy process, about 6 questions. But I had to eliminate, the guns and the alcohol and the cigarettes and the lawyers. We don't want lawyers.
My
Is that
mom's a
on
lawyer. They're
your
great.
Sorry,
Is that on your website?
it is on my website.
Okay.
There it is.
Yes,
Please check out.
SantaBobJohn.com. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So then, you go through the form, we have a little bit of an interview, and then you are Santa approved. Yes, there's a small minimal fee for it, but then once you meet their criteria, you become official members of the workshop, and you can say that you are a glorified elf because you're helping Santa on a mission.
That's awesome.
So I'm starting to getting people signed up to it. They're understanding the concept, and more importantly, I'm sharing some happiness with some people around the world.
Ah.
Very cool. I know Janelle and I were talking about this backstage. When companies get on board with I guess being a part of this mission, essentially, is there like a database that they are now all added to? That
Yes, and that is correct.
okay.
And then I've started a closed business list on Facebook, and I'm going to do some adjusting here and there. Now, just think, Janelle and Winston, we all know the power of groups.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't have 400 members yet, but imagine if I did have 400 members and you sign up, Janelle, and you want to be Santa approved. And I say, okay, as part of the membership agreement, you have to like and comment on a couple of the other members' pages, Facebook pages, or whatever. So now all of a sudden you had 400 people liking, commenting, and sharing on your page.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, isn't that going to explode your page as well?
Yeah.
That's
So
powerful.
the power of community is that we're going to help each other grow and succeed. So that's one of the parts of the mission of being a glorified member of Are You Santa Approved Community, the workshop.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, Winston and I were thinking about that because we've all heard of like Angie's List or other things, right? Like you go to a place where you know that they've vetted certain people and you can trust that they'll do the work that you're looking for them to do. And
Right.
so when we saw the list, we were like, oh, so Santa now has a list where you can be a business on his approved list. That's so interesting. So I'm really glad you talked about this. Like, what does that mean? Like, and so number one, they're committed to supporting each other as businesses. And number two, they're committed to spreading joy and positivity and that type of a thing. So there are going to be some people who aren't going to make that list.
Correct.
So there is some exclusivity there.
Right. And that's just one of the things I've done. Guys, I'm a truck driver by trade. I've done 3 million miles in a big truck.
Wow.
So when I get into some of these conversations and they start talking marketing stuff, and I'm going, hold the sleigh bells. We got to back this up a little bit. You got to explain it in truck driver terminology so I can understand what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool part about it is never count yourself out of any conversation, because you're actually, if you believe in yourself and you have a true passion for your business, as most business owners do, they love talking about their business. And when you have a serious passion, you can talk to anybody because you're driving the conversation.
Yeah.
I was on a call the other day with a couple guys in a meeting, and they started talking about their next big deal.
Mm.
Well, one of them was 50 million and one was 300 million. And I'm going, um, hello, what does Santa have to do with a $300 million deal? But pick me, pick me. I can help. I can give you some ideas. But
Right.
the coolest part is when they started talking to me, they talked to me as like we're talking right now. I
Mm.
was on the level platform and I was part of the conversation.
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
So, never judge yourself as being less than anybody else,
Mm.
because you can be just as important in this conversation as anybody else can, because you have a passion for your business.
Wow, that's a great tip.
Yes.
You know that there's this actually made me think a couple years back. Janelle and I had a chance to go be around some of our mentors. These were guys who were literally millionaires. You're talking about some higher numbers, and at some celebration. And I remember what you're talking about. It was being around them and listening to these guys, but feeling because of the conversation that we were having, we could relate on the business that we were building. So I could understand that, yeah, these guys are earning millions, but they're still talking to me about doing the day-to-day things that I need to do to grow my business. I know you said for you was that time you were in the store, or may have been a mall, you interacted with those kids in the store. Can you talk to us a little bit more about, like, from that day, what's the journey to turning this into sitting in conversations with people?
Well, I'm going into year number 7 as being
Okay, wow.
Santa.
Okay.
And, the passion and how it drived was, well, let's figure out what do you have to do to not be the normal Santa that you all see that, rings the bell or maybe has
Hmm.
a swig of something before he goes and visits the kids, and you hear the stories all the time. Well, this guy wasn't very good,
Mm.
because of XYZ, but this guy was really good. So I figured, well, if I'm going to do this, I want to be serious about it. So my wife custom makes all my suits for me, and if you did not know, a custom made suit for a Santa is about $1,200.
Wow.
My belt alone is worth $700.
Wow.
And the simple reality of that is the kids will see the fake stuff really quick.
Mm.
So you can go and buy off Walmart or Amazon. You can buy the cheap suits and throw it on, but you got to have the passion. You got to have the heart, and you got
Yeah.
to be able to talk to children of all ages. Last year, I had a 10-day-old baby in my arms, and I had a 91-year-old great grandmother on my knee. And the quick story was, I got her giggling and laughing, and everybody in the room was giggling and laughing. And I says, okay, Grandma, we're going to get serious now. What did I bring you for your 7th Christmas?
Oh.
She turns around and didn't even stop a beat and didn't even blink an eye. She said, Santa, I don't remember what I had for supper yesterday. And you want me to remember what you brought me for 7th Christmas? I said, well, you have to try every now and then. But the reality of it is, you have to include all the people
Yeah.
in the room. You can't
Yeah.
exclude them, because without them, there is no story.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow.
So, I'm licensed, I'm insured, I've got a clean background check, because we all know that there are people out there that want it. Hey, here's a golden opportunity. He touched my kid in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry. We've all seen the stories. We've all heard the stories. It ain't happening with this guy at all. This is a true passion for me. I love talking with children. So I've done all that stuff. And then I started doing the normal stuff, the home visits, the daycares, and the businesses
Mm.
while I was still driving truck. And then last year I got laid off from the truck driving job, and I started doing this online stuff. And I went, well, what can I do? And of course, your imagination is your driving force of your business.
Yeah.
You two didn't come up with, hey, we're going to have a podcast and we're going to have people of this, but we don't know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
You come up with ideas, you come up with scripts, you come up with people that you can interview with, and you create a script on going to develop a conversation towards that person's business.
Yeah.
That's why you're successful. That's why you've got followers. That's why people come back all the time.
Mm.
Well, when I got laid off last year, I had bought all new computers, cameras, light screen, lights, and I said, I'm going to set myself for what else can I do? Well, it started with happy birthday videos. Everybody has birthdays year round. Wouldn't it be cool to have a special message from Santa wishing you happy birthday? And that's not just for kids. I've sent ones to 82-year-olds because the lady says, what do you get an 82-year-old great grandmother that has everything? A one of a kind happy birthday video. So then the power of networking is very incredible if you take advantage of it. So people kept throwing different ideas at me. And then, a Santa check-in. Well, what's a Santa check-in video? Well, maybe the kids are acting up and they need a little bit of encouragement from Santa to say, hey, I'm watching year round and I'm hearing stories. But then I talked to a lady that says, Santa, are you marketing this to seniors? And I went, well, maybe not as much as you're going to tell me, right?
Yeah.
And she said her mother was housebound for the last 5 years of her life, loved the idea of Christmas, loved the idea of Santa. And she would have loved to receive a video from Santa to cheer up. So that's opened up the whole new door for me for, nursing homes, senior care centers, Alzheimer's, dementia centers. So I'm marketing to those places as well. And as the story goes, a lady phones me up, sends me a text, Santa, I got an SOS, call me. Okay, Monica, what's going on? She was from Texas. She said, I had an exceptional customer experience with a bank this morning. I said, no, you didn't. That doesn't exist in North America. We've all dealt with banks and they have their own agenda. So this lady said, no, I had a problem with a bank for 6 weeks and nobody could solve the problem. Finally, she said this morning, I talked to a different lady that, imagine that, she asked different questions. An hour later, she sent a message saying, problem solved, thank you for banking with us, blah, blah, blah. And she said, when she called me, she said, Santa, can you make a quick video for this lady for going out of her way to solve this problem? And I went, what an awesome idea, because we as humans forget to say please and thank you a lot of times.
Yeah,
and of course, the younger generation don't know what the two words mean. So I quickly made up a little video for her and sent it off to her. She loved it, sent it to the bank. Thank you for your time. Thank you for going out of your way. Santa's proud of you. Monica says a big thank you. Well, Monica sent it to this lady at the bank. And as far as we know, it went all the way up to the bank manager.
Oh, wow.
But that's what we do. And that's what I'm doing. I'm putting the personal service back in different ideas. And I do a lot of stuff on TikTok. YouTube channel is
TikTok following.
It's not huge yet, but I'm working on it. I just crossed 75,000 the other day.
Yes, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting. But the cool part about it is I am getting parents coming on the video with their children and saying, Santa, can you talk to my 3-year-old? Can you talk to my 4-year-old? So the parents are liking what I'm doing and allowing their children to come and talk to me.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
That for me is taking another whole step up in building the credibility with the parents. That I'm doing something positive, something clean, something that will make some people happy. Once again, we need more of that in this world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm really curious about two things. One, as you know, we have an audience of entrepreneurs. So I would love for them to, they have your website. So now they know how to get Santa approved. That's number one. Number two, I love the story that you talked about how you can use a personalized Santa message to help other people, your employees, things like that. I think that's amazing. And then thirdly, for our fellow entrepreneurs who are watching, can you tell us a little bit about this? This has been 7 years now. So I'm sure you've seen some downsides. I mean, these are some wins, but You talk a lot about passion. I'd love to hear more about that part of like the passion that drove you over some of the challenging moments.
We all hear the story of where the children see Santa.
That's the timer.
They see Santa for the first time and their eyes all light up and they get all giggly and all excited. Well, that warms my heart up tremendously, because kids are so vulnerable, and you want to, of course, give your children the best that you can. That's all what we do as parents. We want to give our children the best. And when they experience Santa for the first or second or third, whatever the case may be, time, you want it to be a memorable, fun experience that they're going to remember for a long time. So having the serious passion to be Santa and share that happiness and positivity, and listen to the children because they're so excited trying, okay, I understood you, even in double time, you know.
Oh, well, thank you. This has been really, really great. If you got a lot out of today's episode with Santa, please go ahead and put a V in the chat for value, so that way we know you got some value. We got to make sure that you're Santa approved. So go ahead and visit his website. You can find him on TikTok doing all those bedtime stories. He's also on Instagram. He's everywhere, everyone. He also has a YouTube channel, like everywhere.
And I didn't even tell them about my stories.
Well, this is what we're going to talk about in overtime. So make sure you catch us in overtime. You can just go over to there it is. There's a link. It's also in the description below. We're going to go into overtime with Santa and have more conversations with him. So please meet us there.
Absolutely. Guys, this has been an amazing episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, as always, remember, you deserve the good life. Say that.
Say that.
See you guys. Be safe.